Greetings, YouTube and In Off the Post Facebook group and other various locations that may be watching this. The interlull is over and we are back. It's been a long 2 weeks for me personally. I've tried to avoid as much football as I can. Ever since the Aston Villa game, personally. My name is Trent. I'm your host, one of the In Off the Post admins here. With me in this evening's predictions video is my fellow admin and a Spurs fan, Sean, a returning guest in Manchester United fan, Chirag, and making his debut is a fellow Gooner, Brandon. So, gentlemen, it's been a long 2 weeks, for me at least. I hope you've enjoyed the international football, but we won't get into that too much. This week, the Premier League returns this weekend, some interesting games. And the aim of the game for this evening is to try and predict as close as you can to what you think is going to happen and why. I know it's hard this season. So, Saturday, the 21st of November at 12:30, the lunchtime kickoff is Newcastle against Chelsea. A Chelsea team that seems to have found their feet, I think, a little bit. So I'm going to go with Chirag. What are your thoughts and how do you think this game will end?
Yeah, I think if Chelsea keep on the way they are, I see a comfortable 3-0 win for Chelsea. I think it's straightforward.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, they've finally finding some goals for Werner and Havertz and more defence as well, as in better defensive organization, it seems. And what about you, Brandon? I'm going to go to you as a debut member. What do you think is going to happen at Newcastle versus Chelsea at St James's Park?
Yeah, I think Chelsea obviously picked up their form quite a bit recently. I expected big things from them from the start, but that didn't happen. Obviously, it took them a few weeks to gel, but I think it'll be comfortable 3-1 Chelsea on Saturday. Probably Werner will get two at the least, let's say. But yeah, I can see 3-1. I don't know who'll get the goal for Newcastle, but yeah, I just think Chelsea's defence still isn't there. I mean, Mendy's been amazing in goal since they've dropped Kepa, but I still think their defence is a little bit shaky and will give Newcastle quite a few opportunities. So I'll go 3-1 Chelsea on that one.
Okay, awesome. And what about you, Sean? Sean joining us all the way from Germany. Who's actually just jumped off the call, unfortunately. So I'm hoping he'll rejoin us in a minute to give his prediction. Yeah, I think Chelsea are probably going to. I mean, it's very difficult to predict this season anyway. I'm also going to say it's going to be a Chelsea win. Let's say 2-0 to Chelsea. I think that they will win and win fairly easily. And then the 3 o'clock kickoff is Aston Villa, who basically gave Arsenal a right spanking at the Emirates, which was painful to watch as a Gooner. 3 o'clock, they're at home to Brighton. What do we think, gentlemen? Chirag, Aston Villa, Jack Grealish looking very, very good.
Aston Villa are on good form. Grealish obviously done well for England. 2-1 Villa.
2-1 Villa. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about yourself, Brandon? What do you think?
Yeah. Similar boat to Chirag there. I think Villa have been great. Great run of form, playing a lot better than they did last year. Yeah, I was going to say 2-1 too, but I think Brighton have also been. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Brighton did nick a draw, or because I think they've been playing well and they've got some good players, especially defensively. Tariq Lamptey, who Chelsea lost, he's a really good player. He gets a few assists and goals as well. So, but yeah, it'll be a good game. But yeah, 2-1 or potentially 2-2, just to change it up a bit. 2-1, 2-2. It's going to be a close game, I think.
Give me. I can't give you 2 results because I'm going to post these on the group afterwards. 2-2.
We'll go 2-2
okay.
Then.
All right. So Brandon reckons it's going to be a 2-2 draw. We seem to have lost Sean. I'm hoping that his internet hasn't cut out and we've lost him for the rest of the evening. But from my perspective, Brighton seem. Oh, here he is. He's back. Excellent. Brighton seem brilliant between both boxes. I've said this a couple of times. So I don't want to kind of keep repeating it, but I don't think they score enough goals, basically. So I think Villa will probably win this, but I'm probably going to say 1-0. Villa to keep their Champions League charge alive with a 1-0 win at home. Sean, you're back. I'm hoping we've lost your audio, mate. We can't hear you.
I'm back.
Awesome. Okay, excellent. So we would we'll take your Newcastle against Chelsea prediction first. We had Chirag with a 3-0 to Chelsea, Brandon with a 3-1 to Chelsea, and me with a 2-0 to Chelsea. What do you think?
Yeah, it's bog standard Chelsea win here, I think, against Newcastle. I mean, Newcastle aren't bad; they just haven't improved, and I just don't see them doing anything special. So yeah, I'll go 3-1 Chelsea.
Okay, excellent. And then a quick fire second prediction from yourself: Aston Villa at home to Brighton at 3:00 on Saturday.
I'm going for a Villa win, 2-0.
Yeah. Okay. The boy Grealish is on fire. Okay,
Shades
excellent.
of Gaza.
Yeah, a little bit, isn't it? He does remind me a little bit of that kind of unpredictability that most English midfielders don't possess. So certainly a player that I'm hoping doesn't go to Manchester United. Right, and then moving on to the 5:30 kickoff is the big one, and I'm going to go to Sean first on this because as the resident Tottenham fan, Manchester City visit Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium at 5:30. So Sean, how are your feet? How are your nerves? What do you think? Man City at home?
I mean, this is the thing, right? The last couple of seasons has not been a difficult game, if you know what I mean. We don't lose to them in the last couple of years. A draw, a win last time round with the very special goal from Mr. Bergwijn. I think we're the team in form. We're the better team in form. Manchester City don't seem to have hit gear yet, or even got into gear yet. I think, and I'm speaking with my heart here and my head at the same time. I'm going for a 2-1 Spurs win.
Okay. I'm just hoping no goals for Harry Kane or Son Heung-min because I don't have either of them in my fantasy league. Actually, no, I have Kane. I don't have Son anymore. So 2 for Kane will be all right. But I still hope Tottenham lose 3-2, of course. In my I'm going to go with the prediction next. I also think Tottenham are going to win, unfortunately. It's my head ruling my heart. I think they will probably sneak 1-0. I think it'll be a tight game, a little bit tactical. Mourinho against Guardiola, that rivalry. Will eyes be poked out? Who knows? But I think Spurs will nick this 1-0. And what about Chirag? Give me your thoughts.
It's a bit of a tricky one to call because City may decide to just turn up and do what they can do. But obviously Tottenham on a run of form, playing well. If Son and Kane turn up, then it should be a comfortable win for Spurs. I would say
I'll have a word in a
3-1.
second.
Okay, I'll come back to you, Sean. I know this is a big game for you. 3-1 Chirag is saying for Tottenham, yeah?
3-1 Spurs, yeah.
Okay, and Brandon, are you going to go with Manchester City to win, or are you going to be?
Yeah, I am. I'm going the opposite way. Not just because I want it as well. No, I think it's going to be a good game. I think it'll be the best game on the Saturday. It'll be close, like you say, like all of you have said. I think it will be who sort of turns up the best on that day. Both got great teams. Tottenham are playing really well. City have been up and down, lost some ridiculous games, including like against Leicester and stuff like that. But no, I think there'll be goals. I reckon 3-2 Man City. But yeah, like I said, it just depends who turns up. I could be wrong. It could be Spurs. I could see it. But I do think Guardiola seems to get his teams to turn up for these big games, and they seem to fight, especially against the Mourinho side, where they've got a lot of history. So yeah, I'm going to go 3-2 City on that one, but it could go either way. We'll see.
And I just want to bring in Sean because I know he had something to say.
So I disagree with Brandon. In this kind of game, Mourinho is the guy to grind out the points.
Shocking that an Arsenal and Tottenham
and it's not just that. I don't even think Spurs need to show up or turn up. I mean, if you look at the games the last couple of weeks, we haven't been winning by massive margins, and we haven't been turning up. It's been 1-0 here, 1-0 there, and just nicking the points against West Brom. 90th minute, 1-0, and I know this is going to hurt you guys to say it. Liverpool were doing it last season. Chugging out the results.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
I know it's too early. But if results go our way, we may actually be top of the league for longer than 20 minutes this weekend.
You might get a whole week.
We
might get a whole week. That's it. I'm gonna go order myself a little trophy. 1 week at the top of the league. No, on a serious note. I think form-wise, Spurs are the better team. We're nicking the results. We're at home. I know Guardiola's just signed his new contract at City, but I don't think that's not gonna cover up the cracks. I mean, they're mid-table at the moment, and it's November.
Yeah,
but
it is a topsy-turvy league, isn't it? It's 6 or 7 points separate 11th, 12th to second or third. So,
You say that, but Spurs were mid-table at this point last year, and they sacked Pochettino.
Yeah,
and there wasn't many points. There was about the same amount of points.
It is, but it's a much more even league. I think. I don't think we've got runaway leaders yet. Liverpool do look like they're building, but they've been crippled. Anyway, I just want to move on quickly because I want to get the results, and then we can chat about COVID and everything else at the very end. The evening kickoff game at 8:00, one that Manchester United fans are hoping finally they can break their curse at Old Trafford and win a game this season. West Brom at home, Chirag. I'm coming to you first. Surely this is not going to be anything other than straightforward.
I'm probably stupidly overly confident, considering how we played after the Tottenham game. We suddenly turned around again when Solskjaer needed it. Every single time he seems to need a performance, he gets one. 3-0 United.
Okay. And what about you, Brandon?
I reckon it will be United's first win at Old Trafford. About time. And
you're not enjoying this at all, I can see.
What's that?
I can see you're not enjoying saying that at all.
No. I hope to see United lose a lot more, and I hope they do lose tomorrow. But no, I think last few games between the two, it's not been. United haven't run away with it against them for quite a while. I reckon it'll be stats wise. I think United will be all over them, but I think it'll be like a 2-0 win, Manchester.
Okay. And what about yourself, Sean?
The one thing United can't do is go into this game like Chelsea did and just underestimate this team, because if you look at West Brom, they're not a bad side. I don't think they're any worse than Fulham. I think they're a lot better than Fulham. Defensively, they're sound, and that's what Bilic gets out of his teams. I think it will be a lot closer, and I think Man United will do what Spurs did and nick it at the end. I'm going to go 1-0 Man United.
Okay, you stole my prediction because that's exactly what I was going to do. But I don't think they're going to keep a clean sheet, because you've all gone with a clean sheet. And I think that West Brom do have some decent sort of pacey players who might cause Mr. Maguire and co at the back a little bit of a headache. So I'm going to say 2-1 for Manchester United.
I think United will keep a clean sheet if they pick the right goalkeeper this week. And I've been saying it for weeks, and they need to give Dean Henderson a chance.
Yeah.
We do, but then in a weird
what
way,
game has he started?
De Gea will start tomorrow. Tomorrow De Gea will start.
I think Henderson does need a run of games in the Prem, but I think also it's United's defence concede a lot of opportunities, so then it doesn't help Dean Henderson. It'll be a similar situation to De Gea. He'll still concede a lot of goals, but I think he is a better keeper than De Gea.
Has made over the last season and a half have been quite bad. So I don't think Henderson would make. I mean,
there have been, but
he wouldn't make the mistakes.
Because don't forget that the way I see it is the defense is as confident as the goalkeeper behind them, right? If the goalkeeper is a little bit shaky, the defense start making errors because they start to overcompensate. Let's not let them have a shot. Let's not let them get in behind. So I think they kind of play off each other and vice versa. You know, if the defenders are awful, then the goalkeeper would be shaky as well. So
defensively, last couple of games, we actually haven't looked too bad. After the Spurs game, we suddenly Solskjaer's kicked their asses and said, right, you need to get stuff sorted, and it seems to have worked so far. I think the international break.
Yeah. Well, anyway, gentlemen, yes, that is a different conversation. I just want to move on to the Sunday games, but yes, the defending in Istanbul was my son's under fives team don't defend like that. Yeah.
I'm talking about Premier League. I'm not talking about Champions League.
Okay. Moving on. Nicely sidestepped there, Chirag. Moving on to Sunday.
I've got lightheaded.
I'm gonna say I didn't see that game, so I can just deny it didn't happen anyway.
There were screenshots. So moving on to the lunchtime kickoff on Sunday, we've got Fulham at home to Everton, the Fulham team who really need to start picking some points up, really. Everton, who I can't even remember, to be honest with you, what their last result was. I think they may have won. They lost at home to Manchester United in a game that I predicted spot on, by the way. A 3-1 at home. Is Everton back to being Everton, or are they going to sort of keep piling the pressure on Scott Parker and Fulham, gentlemen? What do we think? Brandon, I'm going to go to you first.
Yeah, I think the pressure will build up even more on Scott Parker. I don't think his side are strong enough to take on Everton at the moment. Everton have had a good run of form. I know they had an easy first 4 games, including Spurs. But no, I think I can just see Everton getting the win. I think it'll be a comfortable 3-0 win for Everton.
Okay.
Depends on their keeper as well.
Yeah, exactly. Gareth Southgate and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have the same problem, unfortunately. What about you, Sean?
I mean, I think Fulham are probably the worst Premier League team that we've had for a very, very long time. And I don't put it all on Scott Parker. You can only do with what you can with what you're given. And let's be honest, Fulham didn't go out and make out the signings that they needed to do to even try to stay in the Premier League. Like I say, the owners are more interested in what they're going to do in the NFL. They're more invested in what they're doing with their wrestling at the moment. For them, it's just a little club in London that they own. They're not really interested in football. I mean, let's be honest, they're American, right? I mean, they're not interested in soccer, whether they play in the second league or the first league. I think Everton are just. I could see them just turning them completely over this weekend. I could see Everton. I could see Everton easily winning 3-4-0.
Give me the 3 or the 4. Which one do you think is going to be most likely?
I just realised Pickford plays for Everton, so I'm going to go 3-1.
Again, it seems to be the evening of sidestepping. Excellent. And then Chirag.
4-1 Everton.
Okay. Brilliant.
I think Fulham will end up going down quicker. Was it West Brom that had the lowest points?
I think it's Derby County still hold the record.
Is it Derby County that had the lowest points?
Yeah.
I think Fulham will be very close to that tally. They will go down very quickly.
Okay. And then moving on to Sheffield United against West Ham. I know Mr. Dwayne, our admin, is a big West Ham fan. Obviously, every time I predict West Ham to lose, they don't, and he tells me that. At home to Sheffield United. Sheffield United really also need to start getting some points. They're bottom with 1 point. And West Ham are in good form. What do we think? Let's go with, well, actually, let me give my prediction first. I think, I'm very tempted to say Sheffield United to beat West Ham, but I think it's going to be 1-1. Just because I think that neither David Moyes isn't going to be spectacularly open, and Sheffield United, I think, are decent, if not great at the moment. What about you, Chirag?
Is David Moyes back in the dugout?
Yeah, he's back. He's back.
Back in now. Right. So David Moyes is back in the dugout now. So 2-1 Sheffield United.
Okay.
It's going to be a very typical West Ham sort of thing. They'll play very well, but they'll lose.
Okay.
They'll throw it away.
And what about yourself, Sean?
I'm not sure on this one. I mean, this is the thing, and this is why I go back to Dean Henderson should be starting for Man United. He's the difference between Sheffield United of last season and now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's.
But you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was just such a great player for them, and the money they spent on, I can't even remember his name. He's that bad.
Ramsdale.
The ex-Bournemouth goalkeeper.
Ramsdale.
Yeah. I for some reason I want to call him Ramsbottom. He's just pants. You don't go and replace a top quality goalkeeper with a goalkeeper that's just had his team relegated. I'm going to go 2-0 West Ham because I just think they're the better team.
Okay.
And I can't believe I just said that. West Ham are the better team.
Michael Dwayne will be delighted. And what about yourself, Brendan?
I think it'll be a draw. I think I'm going to go 2-2 on this one, just because I completely agree. Sheffield have been terrible at the back. Agree with both points made since they've lost Henderson. But I think it goes back to what you said when sort of they've got the defence of almost worried with the weak goalkeeper currently, similar to United's defence. United, but the situation's opposite in that sense. I think that's the situation there, but. Yeah, I think 2-2. I think West Ham have got some good goal scorers and they've been playing decent. And I think Sheffield have also got good goal scorers. I think it'll be a draw, so I'll go 2-2.
Okay. And then Ellen Road, the stuff of my nightmares for the last 10 days is the idea of going to Marcelo Bielsa's rampant Leeds United at 4:30 on Sunday, Leeds versus Arsenal. It's a fixture that I've always, been happy to sort of see because, back in the days, now I do sound like a Liverpool fan, we were actually quite good at beating Leeds, and we used to beat them normally pretty well. But now they're a different prospect, and we look really, really shaky and really, really worryingly easy to defend against. So I'm going to go with Brandon's opinion first, as the resident Arsenal fan and making his debut. What are your thoughts on the Arsenal game?
It's going to be a biased one, but I'm going to go with my heart rather than my head, because my head tells me it'll be a draw, just because Leeds are playing excellent football and they've got results against some good teams and they're playing just really solid and complete. They really suit Premier League football the way that they play. I think they've got what Arsenal don't in terms of a comfortable backline, comfortable with the goalkeeper and defence that it works perfectly. We seem to be changing our team every week, whether it's one or two players or sometimes more than that. And it's we still don't have that set 11 players play every week. I don't like Aubameyang playing on the wing because his goals have dried up. So yeah, I mean, hopefully, for me, it depends on the lineup, but hopefully Lacazette gets benched, Aubameyang goes up top, and we can just play someone else out. Saka on the wing and maybe Willian in as Cam. That's what I'd like to see, with Pepe on the right. But I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal. That's just my heart. But my head tells me 1-1, but we'll put the prediction 2-1.
Okay, that's the one I'm going to take as well. And I'm hoping that you are correct. Sean?
Could we see some goals from open play this week? Is my big question. I think for the amount of goals Leeds have scored this season, the amount they've conceded is ridiculous. I think they've got a -3 goal difference, and they've scored a lot of goals. They've been torn apart by Crystal Palace last time round.
Yes,
and absolutely demoralised. I think if you look at one of their centre backs played against Spain in the international for Germany, got absolutely terrorised. I think Leeds are where they are because they concede too many goals. The problem is Arsenal don't score enough of them. So although I think Leeds' defence will be a bit suspect and Arsenal aren't able to score, I'm going to go 2-0 Arsenal.
Oh my God, this is going to be a crazy result if it happens. I'm not confident at all that we will beat Leeds, but I want Chirag's opinion first. Go on, Chirag. Give me your prediction.
This is a very hard game to call. As you all said, that Leeds got spanked last time out. A couple of defenders having issues. I think Arsenal got a couple of players out, haven't they? Couple of players tested. I think tested put the COVID and stuff like that, haven't you? Yeah. I can actually see goals in this game though. 2-2.
Okay.
Gonna go for a draw, 2-2.
Yeah, I was actually going to go with 2-2 as well, because I think that we won't be able to I don't know. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go with 1-1 because I think that Arteta will do the classic overthinking this because it's against Bielsa, it's against Guardiola's idol and all that. So I think that we'll probably scrape a draw, but that's about it. And then the evening kickoff is on paper probably the second best game. Liverpool at home to Leicester. Liverpool, who have been ravaged by injuries and coronavirus and everything else, at home to Leicester, who seem to now have found a little bit of consistency. They're playing some good football. And how good does Cengiz Ünder look? Bloody hell. We were linked with him and we ended up with Pepe instead. So, Liverpool versus Leicester City at Anfield. Sean, please, give me your opinion.
This is where I think Spurs' time at the top will end. At the weekend, I think the problems that Liverpool have got at the moment, through no fault of their own, I think if we're talking about a full strength Liverpool team going out at Anfield against Leicester City, we're seeing 2-3, 3-0 or 3-1. The fact that they've got no defence. Yeah, this is it. I mean, they're going to have to pull up a few kids from the youth team. They've got no choice. And I think Leicester on their day are definitely well worthy of being in the top 4 of the Premier League, without a shadow of a doubt. They've got goals coming from everywhere, and I mean everywhere.
They should be in the Champions League, really. They collapsed badly at the end of last season.
Yeah, they should be in the Champions League, and they've just bought well. They've strengthened year to year. They've spent the Mahrez money ridiculously well. I see them very much beating Liverpool this weekend, and I'm going to go 2-1 Leicester City.
Wow, so the famous Anfield unbeaten record is going, according to Sean. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. And that's about.
It might not be 2-1, but it's going.
Okay.
I mean, the only thing that could go worse for Liverpool now is Alisson getting injured at training or catching the vid.
Yeah. You see Sean there with the voodoo doll. Okay, gentlemen, we've got only a few more minutes left. 10 minutes.
Sneezing on it.
Yeah. So Chirag, give me a prediction for the game against Liverpool versus Leicester.
I'm going to say 3-1 Leicester, just purely for the fact they've got no defence.
Okay. All right.
Simple as that. I mean.
And what about yourself, Brandon? Is the Anfield record really at risk, or are we all just treating this as rival fans?
I do think it's going to go. It's been, what is it, 63 they're unbeaten, something like that. I do think this weekend is the weekend it goes, just because of the team that they can select, and their defence is going to be pretty weak. I think they're going to concede a lot of shots, and with Vardy having many opportunities, he doesn't need many to put a few in. But I think it'll be 3-2. I think Liverpool will fight for it. But yeah, I do think their defence won't be as bad as everyone thinks. I think they're going to have, Milner filling in. They'll have Matip. They've still got Trent and Robertson. So I do.
Can Milner play centre back?
Milner can play everywhere.
They might find out, but we'll see. We'll see. But I think Milner's there as a backup. He can always cover. I think he can cover anywhere in the back line. I've never seen him play centre back myself, but if anything, there'll be I don't know who else they'll put centre back, because even Reece Williams just got injured as well. Their youngster who was doing well in the UCL and
I'm going to, sorry to cut you off there, Brendan. I apologise.
That's all right.
A bit of lag. Yeah, I still think Liverpool are going to win. I think just because Brendan Rodgers has a Liverpool complex, I think, and I definitely think that will come to the fore. And Rodgers was try and outsmart Klopp in some way, and he'll get found out. I think Liverpool will just have firepower. Mane's still around. Jota's still scoring, or has now found his scoring boots, so to speak. So I think they'll win. Sorry to poop your party, gentlemen, but that's just my thought. And then 2 games on Monday. We've got the 5:30 Burnley versus Crystal Palace, which is a game that only fans of those 2 teams could really love. At 5:30, very quickly, what do we think? Chirag.
Palace are very hit and miss. It's a hard one to call because, like you say, it's going to be the fans that only watch it. 2-0 Palace.
Ooh. So Burnley, who are, by the way, 19th with only 2 points from all these games. So is this the season where finally the Sean Dyche magic runs out? So 2-0 to Palace for Chirag.
Yeah.
Sean?
Do you know what? I thought the same thing about the Crystal Palace Leeds game. It's going to be excuse my French, it's going on YouTube. Sorry, YouTube. This is going to be a board draw. I mean, I thought it was going to be a board draw. I've very much seen this one being either a board draw or 1-0 Palace. 1-0 Palace, if anything.
Okay. And Brandon?
Yeah, I agree. I think it'd be a 1-0 Palace, a late goal. It's last 10-minute goal, I reckon. Make it interesting. All
right. Well, I'm going to be different, and I'm going to go with 1-0 to Burnley. I think that Sean Dyche, Palace won't risk a lot, and I think that Burnley's aerial bombardment with the aging squad that Palace have might just get them the points they need. And then finally, Wolves versus Southampton in the evening at 8:00. Two teams that are actually on form, especially Southampton. I mean, they're actually 4th, believe it or not. And Hasenhüttl, after that 9-0 home defeat last year against Leicester, we thought it was curtains, but he's turned it around. They're playing really good football as well. What do we think against Wolves, though? Wolves that just seem to be going under the radar, but still consistently getting points. Brandon?
I think Wolves will run away with it this weekend, even though Southampton have been playing really well. I think that Wolves team is so solid, but it's weird saying that because Wolves have been a little bit inconsistent the start to this Premier League compared to last year in the Prem. But I reckon it'll be 3-0. Actually, sorry, I'm going to change that. 3-1 Wolves, just because of Danny Ings. He's a goal machine on the other side.
Okay.
So yeah, 3-1 Wolves. I think Wolves will get that.
And what about you, Chirag? What do you think? Wolves at the Wolverhampton Stadium, whose name I forgot.
I'm going to say draw 1-1. I'm going to say 1-1 draw. Yeah.
Okay. Any particular feeling as to why, or is it just because 2 teams on form and they might just?
I think they're just going to cancel each other out. I think that's what will happen at the end of the day. They'll look out at saying we're both on form, we both don't want to lose.
Okay.
So I think they'll settle for the draw.
In a season of crazy results, that seems the most logical argument I could come up with. So, and finally, last but not least, Sean, what do you think for this game?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one to call. I mean, away from home, Southampton aren't doing too bad. Wolves at home aren't the best so far this season. It's one of those ones, right? I mean, Southampton are doing well. Yeah, form's all well and good, but form is temporary, and they don't really have the quality. I mean, is Ings fit again?
I don't know, actually. I'm not sure.
I mean, this is it. That's their major goal threat. And then after that, I'm not. Che Adams. I mean, he scored a couple of goals this season, but they're few and far between. I think Wolves at home are probably the better side in this one. but I'll go for a 1-1 draw.
Okay, so that is the complete fixture list. We've got about 3 or 4 minutes left. I just have one question for you all, very quickly, just your thoughts, having had the international break. We've seen a lot of issues with COVID. We've seen a lot of problems with players testing positive, negative, etc., etc. Do you gentlemen think that this was actually a wise, to play international football where you've got players coming from all over the world going in there? We rescheduled the Euros because of COVID-19. Why are we playing international football? What are your thoughts? I personally think that it was just a complete opportunity to just have 2 weeks of just recovery for the players and cancel these games and reschedule them. It's the Nations League. You're not rescheduling the World Cup, right? What do you think?
It's not even just the Nations League. It's all sorts of friendlies. And I'm not being funny. If you're trying to control and keep something at a bare minimum, you should keep the players with the players that they're always with, and not let them link up and mix with other teams. Okay, of course, week to week you're going to play against other teams. Thank God Gareth Bale tested negative after swapping shirts with Matt Doherty. But that's the risk they're running. It's ridiculous, and it's a complete waste of time. The Nations League is just a money-spinning way for UEFA, and even then it's not even panned out the way they wanted to this year.
Absolutely. I just want to get the thoughts of Chirag and Brandon just before we go. So, gentlemen, what do you think about
Quite
this?
frankly, if they were willing to play the Nations Leagues, why not play the Euros? So at least have a competition, at least have it meaningful. Otherwise, like you said, have a break, let the players rest, and then come back, and then hopefully we'll see the Premier League the way it should be, and not so topsy-turvy as it has been this season.
Okay, and then very quickly, Brandon, last but not least, just final word on this one from you.
Yeah, I agree. I think they should have used the 2 weeks to rest all the players. The amount of injuries we've seen this season already is a joke. I think Liverpool suffering the most, which isn't a bad thing. But yeah, no, I think it is important that the players get the rest, and it's international. That's not. Most of them are friendlies. It's not that great. It's not exactly entertaining. I think just bin it off for now. I think stick to the club games.
Awesome. Well, that's it for this evening, gentlemen. I really appreciate your time. Brandon, thank you for making your debut. Sean, Chirag, as always, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
YouTube, if you like what you see here, and if you think that the nonsense that we have spoken is right or wrong, please make sure that you join our closed Facebook group. The link is in the description somewhere below there. And also subscribe to the channel for more waffle. Thank you very much. Enjoy the football at the weekend, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.
Bye.
See you later.
Yeah.